This is 2 Corinthians 13 and 8. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of Great Millstone for risking their lives and their freedom to spread this word in truth and sincerity to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And I want to give a salutations and a shalom to all the Akim and few Akwath that may be listening. This is your brother Batakala Yahweh from GMS Chicago, and I'm coming back at you with another video. And this video will be the second installment in the Neither Jew Nor Greek series going into Greek history, ancient Greek history. And this installment of that series will be called the Dorian Greeks. Now, I started off with the scripture, 2 Corinthians 13 and 8, and I will read it one more time, and then we'll go into the breakdown. 2 Corinthians 13, verse 8, for we can do nothing against the truth and for the truth. Now, what does this really mean? Let's look. All right, so let's go to the internet here. Now, if you look here, we have a picture of a helmet. Now, those that aren't under a rock or, are familiar with movies, you'll recognize this helmet as the same helmet that all the men in the movie 300 wore, all the Spartans. Now, this helmet is referred to as a Corinthian helmet. The same individuals that are responsible for inventing the design of this helmet are the descendants of the individuals that were being spoken to in the book of Corinthians, both of the books of Corinthians. So when that verse in 2 Corinthians 13 and 8 says that nothing can be done against the truth but for the truth, well, that's exactly what this means. See, when Esau made the movie 300, what did he do? Esau depicted himself as the Spartans and depicted Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans as the evil Persians. Okay? Now, if we look at regular modern-day history and things that we do know, what we do know is that those people who claim to be the children of God, who claim to be Jewish, notice I say claim, they never have once mentioned the fact that the Spartans and all Lacedaemonians and most if not all ancient classical Greeks prior to Alexander coming down from Macedonia and invading, I'm speaking of those Greeks, were all, if not all, mostly Israelites. And this is continuing even into the days of the Roman Empire. Okay? So, like I said, Esau, he tried to go against the truth with his movie 300. He tried to tell you that he was the Spartans, even though these fake Jews never claimed to be Spartans. But in the Apocrypha, it says that the Spartans, or the Lacedaemonians is the term that's used verbatim, are brethren of the Israelites, meaning that they are Israelites as well. So why do I say that nothing can be done against the truth? Because that movie 300 was extremely popular. Okay, most if not all males who were alive in the United States during the time that movie came out have or went to go see it, either when it came out or they have seen it since then. Okay, and that includes you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And of course, that movie would start to raise questions, would start to make people start doing more research, would make people look into who the Spartans were. And ultimately, what that movie that was meant to hold us back as Israelites and propel the Edomite, the so-called white man, forward, actually has worked to his detriment. Because what did this movie do? This movie inspired people like myself to want to further research, to want to find out about who the Spartans were. And when said people went and started digging and went to go find, I guarantee you that a lot of them didn't find what they wanted to see. And we're going to go into that right now. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just Salakia, go and we're going to talk about what a Dorian Greek is real quick. All right. So let's go. We're on Wikipedia here just to get a quick overview. The Dorians were one of four major ethnic groups among which the Hellenes or Greeks of classical Greece considered themselves divided, along with the Aeolians, the Achaeans, and the Ionians. They're almost always referred to as just the Dorians, as they are called in the earliest literary mention of them in the Odyssey, where they already can be found inhabiting the island of Crete. They were diverse in way of life and social organization, varying from the populous trade center city of Corinth, like in the book of Corinthians or the book of 2 Corinthians, okay? Corinth, that's where they were at. Known for its ornate style in art and architecture, to the isolationist military state of Sparta. And yet all Hellenes knew which localities were Dorian and which were not. Dorian states at war could more likely, but not always, count on the assistance of other Dorian states. Dorians were distinguished by the Doric Greek dialect and by characteristic social and historical traditions. All right. So, as you can see here, it's telling you that the Dorians inhabited Corinth and Sparta and all the other islands and areas like that closer to the Aegean Sea in South Greece. Okay. And that includes the island of Crete as well. So now we're going to go to another website. And, we went to Wikipedia to get a broad overview. But now that we're going to start getting into a little bit more detail, I want to go to a bit of a more reputable source. Now, this is a good website. Any brothers that want to look into anything that have to do with like history and stuff like that, as far as it pertains to Israelites or what the world would refer to as so-called black people, as you can see on the website here. Even these fools who are Jakes are calling themselves black but trying to exalt themselves in the same sentence. Doesn't make too much sense, but it is what it is. But yes, I would suggest brothers go to this website. It is realhistoryww.com. I'm sure some brothers already know about it, but those that don't, it's some good information, and you can find out a lot about who you are and who your people are by reading this information, as well as using the scriptures to cross-reference. So we're going to start here at the top, and it reads, Ancient Man and His First Civilizations, Black Mediterranean History via Coin and Pottery. All right, so we're going to start here at the oldest coin in the world. Actually, we're going to start here at the oldest coin in the world. The oldest coin known today was discovered in Ephesus, an ancient city and prosperous trading center on the coast of Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. The 1/6 stater pictured below is more than 2,700 years old, making it one of the very earliest coins made from electrum, a natural occurring alloy of gold and silver. The coin originated in the area of Lydia. It had a design on one side only, and a result of the primitive method of manufacture. The ancient stater was hand-struck, a die with a design, in this case a lion's head, for the obverse front of the coin was placed on an anvil. A blank piece of metal was placed on top of the die, and a punch hammered onto the reverse. The result was a coin with an image on one side and a punch mark on the other. The stater is a key exhibit in the Department of Coins and Metals in the British Museum, which houses one of the world's finest numismatic collections, comprising about 1 million objects. The earliest issues thought to date from the region of Attales, or perhaps his predecessor Sadeates, both of the Mermenid dynasty. They feature the Lydian king's emblem of a roaring lion, almost always with a curious knob, often called a nosewort, on its forehead. All right, so this is important here because if you know anything about history, you know that Esau always represents himself as an eagle. Okay, Edomites do not use a lion as their crest or their insignia. That's what Israelites do, in particular Judites, because the lion is their sigil, for lack of a better term. Okay, so let's keep reading. Just as the rulers of the Middle East today have become wealthy from oil, so the ancient Lydian kings became rich by accumulating and minting coins from Electrum. The capital city of ancient Lydia was Sardis, and it was a major commercial center linking the Asian kingdoms of the east with the coastal Greek cities of Ionia, including Miletus. It's not an accident that the first coins appeared in the important commercial centers of Lydia and adjacent Ionia, nor that the first systems of bimetallic currency, the first systems of interrelated gold and silver issues, was also developed there. As the 19th century German historian Ernest R. Curtis wrote, the Lydians became on land what the Phoenicians were by sea, the mediators between Hellas and Asia. Okay, so basically what they're saying is that these jakes here from Turkey, or modern day Turkey, were liaisons with the Greeks at the time, who were also jakes, and they found one of these old Middle Eastern coins in Greece, and they found some in Turkey as well. But like I said, jakes made this coin, so that would let you know that jakes inhabited both Greece and Turkey, at least at this time. All right, and now we have some photos here of who would be the people who would have minted those coins who were living in Turkey at the time, and we'll zoom in, and you'll notice that, of course, the nose is knocked off in this one. You can see it. If I zoom in enough, you can see there's no nose there. You know what that means. Esau got to him and decided that you couldn't know that he was a Jake. But you know, woolly beard, woolly hair under the hat. Another one, woolly beard, afro sticking out the back of his hat. So, you know, dumb Jake. Oh, wow. Here it looks like it's one Esau didn't get his hands on. Look at the nose there. All right. With the afro coming out the back of the hat again. And then we got the woolly beard. All right. Let's keep going to the next photo. And we have a Sphinx here. And as you can see, the nose was tampered with again. The front of it filed off to give the 45-degree angle that you got here. And we have what looks like some braids coming out of the back here. And then we have a beard as well. And notice that this man is atop of the Sphinx, much like they put the pharaoh on top of the Sphinx as well in the in the desert in Egypt. And we know who built that. Jake built those statues and the pyramids as well. So it's not shocking to see some more Jakes using the symbol of the Sphinx here. All right. So now we're going to keep going. One thing I do want to look at before I keep going, because we don't really need to know about the history of coins anymore, is that I just want to look at some of these coins and read the description here. So this is a memorial coin of the legendary King Midas of Phrygia, circa 800 BC. Draped bust of King Midas wearing Phrygian cap. So that would be here on the left. And then on the right here we have Dikayonsk. I don't know how to read that, but I think it says Dikayonsin, standing, holding scales and a scepter. All right, and this is from 240 to 260 AD. So let's zoom in on the face here of King Midas, who, if you look him up on Google, I'm pretty positive a photo of an Edomite will come up, and that's okay. You know, they can do whatever they got to do. They like the Job and 9 and 24 shit, and that's okay. You know, that's their job. But let's study this brother right here. So you can see the broad nose and the thick lips, very prominent. And you can see the woolly beard and the afro coming from under the Phrygian cap. So I don't know where they're getting the picture of these Edomites from. But, well, I do know they're getting it from a coloring book or something, because this shit ain't, whatever they giving you ain't true. So let's keep going down. Now this is a tetradrachm of Athens, Attica. And Attica was like I believe that was the name of the region that Athens was in. And it says this is the head of Athena. and she's wearing the Attican helmet. And let's see. Okay, so we see the broad nose again. All right, and then we see the braids coming out the back. So let's keep going. Now this is this is a Greek hemistator. Now, if that last one was in question, we know for a fact who this is. All right, big nose, big lips, afro. We got Jake once again on a Greek coin in 550. So we've been in America for about 400 years now. When has Esau put a Jake on any of his currency in America? Because he's been in charge in America. When has he put Jake on any of it? Matter of fact, when has Esau put Jake on any currency post 1500? When has that happened? I'll just wait. Let's keep going. So now we have another one, and this is from Sicily. So you Italians, we coming for y'all next, but we're gonna focus on Greece right now. But we still gonna look at the coins though, because it's pertinent. So this is from Sicily, and that's why I say that a lot of Sicilians and Italians are really Jakes. They just don't know it. But let's look at this. So it says this is a Naxos this is from Naxos, Sicily. This is a tetradrachm, and this is from 430 to 420 BC. And I don't even got to zoom in on this one. We know it's a Jake. He got the afro, he got the beard, and unfortunately he doesn't have any pants on. All right. Now this is a Surmile. They found this one in Macedonia. Wow. Okay. So I guess Esau was using our money. Now this is called a tetradrachm, and this is from around 490 BC. Now I want you to remember that Alexander of Macedonia didn't conquer the known world until about 300 and post 300. So it was post 3rd century. So, or no, is it 3rd century? Post it was, he didn't conquer until around the 300s. All right. So I don't know how to say that exactly because time goes backwards when you're talking about BC, but in between the year 360 to year 300 BC, that's around that time that Alexander was conquering. So this coin was in Macedonia before, well over 100 years, at least 100 years before he was born. Well over though, more than likely, because like I said, he was born around 3 something, and this is in 490. So this is at least 100 or 200 years before he was born. But now that we got past that preamble here, we're gonna go to talk about the Spartans now, which is kind of the meat of this lesson. But before that, let me just go ahead and get a scripture because I'm kind of talking a lot going into the history, Salakia, for that. So let me go here. Yeah. Okay, so this is Isaiah 59:19, and it reads, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Now, brothers usually pull this scripture out to allude to the spiritual power that will be given to certain chosen individuals when that day comes, and they're correct in doing so. But one thing that I also want to do is to let brothers know that when we talk about spiritual powers, it doesn't always necessarily mean that you're flying in the sky or shooting lasers out of your eyes or lifting up trucks with one hand, okay? Just the fact that we've been able to unearth this information and spread this word and have been given the zeal to want to even do this is spiritual power in and of itself. You got to think about your everyday nigga on the streets. He's not worried about none of this shit, man. If you told a nigga on the block that his ancestors were the Spartans, he'll laugh at you and call you stupid and tell you that they was white. All right. So just the fact that you even think about this kind of thing is spiritually empowering in and of itself, and is a power or a gift given unto you from the Most High. All right. This is not a joke, man. And notice it says when the enemy shall come in like a flood. Now, yes, it is going to get worse, but make no mistake about it, man. We've been getting flooded for 400 or 500 years, man. Okay, and those of you that's from the hood, you know what getting flooded by somebody means, man. We've been getting folded by this Edomite for a long time, man. So the flood been happening. It's going to get worse, though. Okay, when the emphasis is made on it here in this verse, it's talking about the worst. But make no mistake, we've been getting flooded, and the Lord has given us His Spirit. Okay, and the fact that He's raising, because this is a standard that's being raised. Okay, the old standard was what? That Edomites was on top. That Edomites did everything. That Edomites are the founders of this planet, the founders of civilization. That Edomites are the only ones that knew how to read and write prior to modern times. Okay? But now the Lord has raised the standard to let us know that that was us that did that. Okay? And you need to be thankful for that, man. The water Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for that. Because that's more powerful than anything. The first thing before you can get any type of spiritual power, before you can get any type of anything, before you can even count yourself as somebody who can rely on the Lord based off of your actions, before you can do any of that, you need to know who you are first. Okay? And being enabled and galvanized to find that in the spirit is a power in and of itself. But let's keep going, because this is where we're about to get into the meat. All right. So Sparta, or Lacedaemon, was a prominent city-state in ancient Greece, situated on the banks of the river Eurotas and Laconia in southeastern Peloponnese. It emerged as a political entity around the 10th century BC. From circa 650 BC, it rose to become the dominant military land power in Greece. Sparta, Slovakia, before I go further, notice how long that is, okay? They started around the 10th century, and then when they became powerful, well, they started in the 10th century. You know, they went for 400 years or 300 years, 350 years, and then when they got to 650, that's when they became more powerful. So that's already 400 years right there. Let's keep reading. Sparta was unique in ancient Greece for its social system and constitution, which completely focused on military training and excellence. Its inhabitants were classified as Spartans, which were Spartan citizens who enjoyed full rights. Mothakes, non-Spartan freedmen raised as Spartans. Perioikoi, which are freedmen, and Helots, which are state-owned serfs, enslaved non-Spartan local population. Spartes underwent rigorous agoge training and education regimen, and Spartan phalanxes were widely considered to be among the best in battle. Spartan women enjoyed considerably more rights and equality to men than elsewhere in the classic world. And you can't enjoy more equality. Either you're equal or you're not, and women are not equal. Now, just because a woman is not equal to you doesn't mean that you should disrespect her or treat her foully. Okay? And basically that's what that's saying. Okay? These Spartans didn't hold the woman equal to them. All right? If they did, their society wouldn't have lasted as long as it did. But, you know, they got to sprinkle that little touch of modernness in there. Now, did they respect their women and have respect for their women? Yes. Did their women have a position in their society? Yes. But just because you have a position in your society doesn't make you equal to the man. All right. So now that I got that out the way, let's just keep going. Spartanites, or homoioi, which is Greek for those who are alike, were the males of Sparta, known to the Spartans as peers, or men of equal status. From a young age, male Spartans were trained for battle and put through grueling challenges intended to craft them into fearless warriors. In battle, they had the reputation of being the best soldiers in Greece, and the strength of Sparta's hoplite forces let the city become the dominant state in Greece throughout most of the Hellenic period. No other city-state would dare attack Sparta, even though it could only muster a force of about 8,000 Spartites during the zenith of its dominance. Given its military preeminence, Sparta was recognized as the overall leader of the combined Greek forces during the Greco-Persian Wars. That would be when the movie 300 took place, basically between 431 and 404 BC. Sparta was the principal enemy of Athens during the Peloponnesian Wars, from which it emerged victorious, though at great cost. Sparta's defeat by Thebes in the Battle of Lectra and in the Battle of Leuctra in 371 BC ended Sparta's prominent role in Greece. However, it maintained its political independence until the Roman conquest of Greece in 146 BC. So these guys lasted from 1100 BC all the way to 146 BC. Okay. And there are many reasons why. They noted the fighting prowess and things like that. But one thing that I do want to point out for those that are students of history is that when you look into the falling and crumbling of empires, usually they fall or crumble from within. They don't crumble from the outside or from a conquering force. Now, of course, there are some empires, or of course, Salakia, of course, a lot of empires ultimately succumb to a conquering force, but the conquering force is not really necessarily what destroyed them or caused the downfall. The conquering force is usually just the straw that breaks the camel's back. Okay, usually what destroys a nation is greed, deception, lies, manipulation, things like that. Now I'm going to go to Galatians 3:28. Salakia, that's not what I want. No, it's in the Timothy. Salakia. I'm gonna go with the Timothy. I apologize for that. 1 Timothy 6:10. And it reads, For the love of money is the root of all evil, while which some coveted after they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Okay. Now, like I said, there was a lot of reasons for why Sparta lasted so long, but the main reason was that they did not use any type of valuable currency, okay? They abolished gold and silver and wouldn't even allow people to bring it to their land, all right? The money and the currency that they used was made out of iron. And in their society, people were taught not to worship materialistic things, not to care about money, not to worship money. Okay, and that aided and abetted them in having such longevity because they wouldn't have to worry about too many people selling out or too many people betraying other people for gain and for money, because most Spartans didn't care about money anyway. All right, now let's continue. Here we have some coins. Now these are some older Greek coins here. Now it says they're silver, but if they're from Sparta, they were made of iron. If these are silver, then they're probably from Corinth or some other place in that area. But this reads a tenedo, or this was out. See, it says tenedo, so I don't know if that's where that's at, but wherever that's at, that's where they found this at. And this is a silver didrachum, and this is circa 550 to 470 BC. So this would be kind of in the ballpark of when the fight with the 300 happened, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, so kind of right around there, a little bit before that. But on this coin here, this is a dual image of both Zeus and Hera, and you'll notice that Zeus has a big nose and thick lips and a woolly beard and woolly hair, and Hera herself has a thick nose and thick lips and woolly hair. And then you'll go to the back of the coin here, and you'll notice that this soldier on the back wearing the Corinthian helmet has braids coming out of the back of his helmet, has a woolly beard, has thick nose and a thick lip, or thick lips and a thick nose. And notice how he's wearing his helmet as well, because I just want to point out that there is nothing new under the sun. okay? Those of you that have played football before, you might recognize the way this brother's wearing his helmet on his head, and you probably have done it yourself. I know I have, all right? Nothing is new here. All right, so now we're going to get go a little bit further in to speak about the soldier or the hoplite, all right? So this reads, a hoplite was a citizen soldier of the ancient Greek city-states. Hoplites were primarily armed as spearmen and fought in a phalanx formation. That would be like how the Spartans stand shield to shield and stab people with the spear from behind the shields. The word hoplite derives from hoplon, a type of shield used by the soldiers, although as a word, hopla could also denote weapons held or even full arraignment. In later texts, the term hoplite is used to denote any armored infantry, regardless of armament or ethnicity. So that automatically tells you right there that it ain't just like they want you to think that it's all Edomites that was in Greece back then, but this is talking about regardless of armament or ethnicity, to let you know that there was more than one group of people there, and really the Edomites weren't one of them. All right. And to be honest, I don't know what the hell they were doing prior to Alexander coming down from the mountains. So I had to do more research on that personally, but yeah, these Edomites, they don't know what they talking about, man. Well, they know what they talking about, but actually, I ain't gonna say that. They know what they talking about, and that's why they lying to your ass. All right, let's keep reading. A hoplite was primarily a free citizen who was usually individually responsible for procuring his armor and weapon. They were expected to take part in any military campaign where they were called for duty. The Lacedaemonian citizens, in parentheses Spartans, were renowned for their lifelong combat training and almost mythical military prowess, while their greatest adversary, the Athenians, were exempted from service after the 60th year. All right. Now we have a photo here, and I really want to focus on this one right here, man. All right, because this is Job 9:24 right here in action. All right. So this is a picture of a hoplite warrior, and I want you to notice that Esau has halfway started to bleach this image. Now I don't know what made him stop doing it, but this will give you an example of how they've changed some of the images and how they continue to change images, okay? So they put some type of treatment on top of the painting, and then it does this. It turns into this gray looking thing. Instead of being vibrant and colorful like it is up here, they put the treatment on it, and it starts to look like that, all right? And you know it's a treatment and it's not deterioration or erosion, because if it was deterioration of the paint or erosion, then the outline of this gentleman's leg would have deteriorated as well, but it did not. Okay, so whatever it is that they did it, and it only changed the skin tone. It didn't erase the lines or anything like that. All right, but yeah, this is Job 9:24 in action for you right here. Okay, now for whatever reason they stopped doing this, probably because they feared that they wouldn't be able to preserve the art if they continued to try and Job 9:24 it. But who knows why they stopped. But yeah, that's an example for you right there. And now I want you to see this statue here of a hoplite, and this is 500 BC. And notice how the nose and the lips are filed down significantly. If I zoom in here, you can see that the nose and the lips have been tampered with. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked if the nose was larger than this, crushed down, and then recarved or reassembled to make it look smaller. And these lips, there's really nothing they can do with that. This guy's lips are just caved into his face. Okay. And now we have more soldiers, more hoplite soldiers here. And if we zoom in, you can see the nose and the lips have been filed down. We know what that means. We know that means Esau's been here. That's his calling card. And we see what looks like to be dreads or braids coming out of the back of the helmet here. And yeah, we know who does that today here. All right. Once again, more braids coming out of the back. We got a woolly beard here. This guy's nose is chipped, obviously, but they couldn't get all of it. The lips are not chipped. They couldn't get all of it. But these are obviously Jake's here. And this guy's whole face has had to be covered because he obviously probably just looked straight like a Jake. Okay. Now let's go to the next image. Okay, this is another hoplite, and this will be a hoplite running. And once again, Esau has been here. Nose and lips smashed off. Okay. We got braids coming out of the helmet. And we got what looks like to be some woolly hair sticking out of the top of the helmet right up here. But yes, nose and lips smashed off, so you know what that means. Now, we're going to go to a vase, another vase. Okay, if you remember in the last installment of this series, we went over a vase, and it had a cadmus on it, I believe. And just like that vase, these men are so-called black here. But notice that there is white paint present, mostly with the outline right there. You see these outlines, they're white. So if there was white paint present, why are these individuals not painted white? Okay. So let's keep going. So the Partheniae. In ancient Greece, the Partheniae or Parthenians, literally sons of virgins, are lower-ranking Spartite population, which, according to tradition, left Laconia to go to Magna Graecia and founded Taurus, modern Taranto, in the current region of Apulia in southern Italy. Okay, so like I said, we're going to come for you Italians on another day. But right now, we focusing on the Greeks. But we will zoom in on these coins just to let you guys know. And, you know, we don't got to zoom in too far. These are obviously Jake's. We got the afro with the braids coming down the back. We got the big nose, big lips. My man's got his rod out. That's kind of wild. But, you know, it is what it is. And then we got the woman here with the braids down to the back. And we got the big lips and we got the big nose. Okay. Now, this one's stamped in, so the features are not going to be as prominent, I guess. But they found this in the same area, and it was around the same time, so, you know, Jake. And then here we got the brother with the afro, with the nose, and then you can see his lips protruding out there. And this one's kind of old. You can't really tell what's on this one, so we'll keep going. All right. Let me see. Hold on, Salaki. Let me just. All right. So yeah, this is yeah, we're gonna look at these, and then we're gonna close it out. Okay. So this is Greek black figure pottery. Black figure pottery painting, also known as the black figure style or black figure ceramic, was especially common between the 7th and 5th centuries BC. Although there are specimens during as late as the 2nd century BC, figures and ornaments were painted on the body of the vessel using shapes and colors reminiscent of silhouettes. Delicate contours were incised into the paint before firing, and details could be reinforced and highlighted with opaque colors, usually white and red. The principal centers for this style were initially in the commercial hub Corinth and later Athens. Okay. And notice that they said they had white paint back then. So, you know, I don't know what these Edomites are thinking. But let's zoom in on this. Okay, so look at these. This is a hop. This is a vase. This is the Chigi vase. And this is found in some Etruscan tombs, so that would be somewhere near Italy, I believe. And so this is basically just depicting a phalanx, or how the Spartans would fight. And notice that every single one of these soldiers are melanated individuals. There is white in the picture, letting you know that they did have white paint. So why they wouldn't have painted themselves white just doesn't make any sense. Like I said, all of these guys are melanated. Every last one of them. There is not one so-called white man on here. And I want to zoom in on this over here. If you see this shield here, the face or the emblem on this shield very much represents the symbol that both Tainos as well as Aztecs, and I think Mayans as well, used. And they'll tell you that it's a symbol representing the sun. I may have to search a better another photo, but those of you brothers that are Hispanic, you know that you've seen a symbol similar to this one. Now, it's not going to look exactly like it. I'm not saying it's verbatim the exact same drawing, but you'll see a similar type of symbol in both Taino art as well as in Mexican art or ancient Aztec and Mayan art. So let's keep going. Okay, here's another Corinthian vase, and this is depicting Hercules. And all of these individuals are melanated once again. Okay, all of them. And it's also said that the Spartans descend directly from Hercules, and you know, if this is a Hercules vase and everybody on here is so-called black, I guess Hercules is so-called black, just like the Spartans were so-called black. Okay, so here's one last vase, and this is the Bocchian black figure Skyphos bowl, decorated with loom of circle. Slovakia, with loom of Circe, or Kirke, the daughter of Helios, the god of the sun, and Perse, an Oceanoid, and sister of Aetes. King Cloacus, the keeper of the golden fleece, Perses, and Pasiphae, the wife of King Minos, the mother of the Minotaur. She is shown with Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, husband of Penelope, and father of Tamiculus, the son of Laertes and Anticlea, circa 450 BC. All right, and Jake all the way, especially this woman here. I can't really see. I mean, this guy's a Jake too, but it's broken by his lips. But he's a Jake as well. Let's keep going. All right, and we'll read this. Let me just make sure. What else do I want to get? There's more coins. Okay, yeah, so this is going to be the last section we read. We'll look at these pictures at the bottom here, and then we'll keep going. So this is a section called The Frauds, and it reads, well, I'm going to say so-called. It doesn't say so-called, but I just don't like saying this word. So-called whites have said that so-called black figures... Oh, no, never mind. So-called whites have said that the black figures did not indicate skin color. Thus, thus blacks, but rather... So-called whites have said that the black figures did not indicate skin color, thus so-called blacks, but rather was just a style and function of the materials used in the manufacturing process. When it is pointed out that there are so-called white painted figures on the pottery, they respond that the convention of those times was to paint females so-called white. When it was pointed out that there are some vases with so-called black men and so-called white men fighting, they respond that those are female warriors, usually Atlanta, Amazons, or some such. Exactly how these rather convenient identifications are made is unknown, as these figures mostly appear to be men. When it's pointed out that there are some vases with bearded so-called white men, see Titius and Insami vase below, they usually stop lying. Okay, so like this individual, whoever wrote that, stated, these Edomites will lie about everything. Okay, that's their MO. They like to come up with bullshit excuses. As a matter of fact, before we go further and look at these pictures, I'll give you another example of one of Esau's bullshit fake excuses. Now, earlier when we were reading about the Dorians, the Spartans in particular, we read about the fact that they had their own constitution. Okay, so let's read. And the constitution is called the Great Retra. So let's read this. The Great Retra literally great saying or proclamation was used in two senses by the classical authors. In one sense, it was the Spartan constitution, believed to have been formulated and established by the legendary lawgiver Lycurgus. The legend Lycurgus forbade any written constitution. It was therefore presumed to have been oral. So this Edomite is going to tell you that they came up with a code of life for Sparta. But the person that came up with the code of life for Sparta said that you could not write the code or the constitution down at all. It was illegal. And then the same group of people took that constitution and applied it to their society, and their society thrived for over 1,000 years. So how does a society last for 1,000 plus years when they have no written instructions on how to conduct themselves? But they'll draw on vases, they'll write other things down, but this one most important thing was forbidden to be wrote down. See, that's where Esau, that's what Esau likes to do. He said the same thing about the Dark Ages, that people just weren't allowed to write things down, and that lower class individuals just weren't taught anything. All right. Fucking liar. This guy's a liar. All right. And just to prove that he's a liar, let's look at this shield. All right. And this is Zeus. This is supposed to be Zeus on this shield. Okay. And what does he have? He has a beard that appears to be dreadlocked. Okay. He has so-called black skin, dark skin, melanated. And he's got the same hairstyle that Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans be wearing. Okay. Dreads, ponytailed, and tied in the back. But these supposed to be Edomites that's doing this. Look at the nose on him. Look at the lips on him. This is Zeus. This is a picture of Zeus right here. Okay. Look at this. Zeus on his throne with his eagle. This ain't no joke, man. All right. So let's get this next scripture. All right. And this reads, "And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams." Salakia. All right. And we're here in these last days. And we're letting it be known, man. All right. This is nothing short of the Lord's work. This is a miracle that we figured this stuff out, okay? A miracle. Nothing short of that. Now, let me continue. Okay, so now, like I said, you got a vase here, and this vase has all melanated individuals on it, but they did have access to the white paint, as you can see. White paint here. It actually looks like they tried to paint over this guy here. You can see his wrist here. They probably tried to Job 9 and 24 this vase with the wrist here, but it just didn't work. But yeah, you know, they had white paint and didn't use it, and then Esau tried to come in Job 9 and 24 the arm right here, and it failed. Okay, so here we have another vase, and this is a, let's see, what does this say? This vase proves, or no, never mind, Greek Attic Black Figure Amorpha. That's what this one's called. So we have a wow, it's lucky I didn't even ever read this this thing, but it says this vase proves conclusively that so-called whites alter so-called black artifacts to make them appear to depict so-called white people. Note the chin of the female, but most damningly her right hand extends in front of the king, as it extends in front of the king, and is still black. Okay, so here we go. Job 9 and 24 right here. I mean, you can see, you don't even have to look at the other end. You can see right there that this is painted over because the black paint is coming through. on this left hand here. But let's look at the chin. Same thing. The black paint is coming through on the chin and the tip of the nose. And then let's go here. Look at the hand. So-called black. These fucking Edomites, Job and 9 and 24, everything that they get their hands on, okay? This ain't a joke, man. We're not making this shit up here. Okay, here's another vase. And like they said in the paragraph above this scenario, they like to pretend that it's a man and woman thing. So they get these vases and then they try to paint all the women so-called white so that they can pass that bullshit off. And it just doesn't work. That's why the paint in this image here is not even painted properly. Whoever did this, I hope they put him to death for fucking off. Stupid ass. Let's keep going. This vase clearly shows that the original glazed paint was removed from the skin areas of the females and repainted with a flat white paint. Okay. Oh, yeah. You can definitely tell because you see how the flash of the light catches on the darker colors here? Everything catches the flash except for the skin of these ladies that was obviously painted over. Okay? You sloppy, Esau. You are too sloppy. That's another reason why they don't like to let people take cameras into these museums a lot of times, okay? Some of these museums will not allow you to take photos. If they catch you, they will kick you out and make you erase it. Okay? You can't be allowed to take these things home and study them thoroughly because then you're going to start finding the mistakes and the holes. But if you're just walking by an exhibit and you glance over it, you don't notice it and you just look at it and you might call it wear and tear. Let's continue. Okay, so this is the Greek Attic black figure vase depicting Achilles and Ajax playing dice as Athena looks on. Okay, so you want to you telling me that these Greeks wasn't jakes and they got a vase of fucking of Ajax and Achilles having a fucking dice game on their knees over there click clacking? And then you know that they painted over Athena because if I zoom in on the wrist here, you can see the black paint coming underneath right here in this little spot right here where they didn't catch it at. Okay? Look at the knuckles here. You can tell. You can see some of the paint coming through. All right? So we got two niggas playing shooting D's. Okay? And y'all supposed to be Edomites. I ain't never seen no fucking Edomites crouch down on their knees and shoot dice like this, bro. Ever. The only time I ever seen an Edomite shoot dice is at the fucking casino at a crap table. And I want to zoom in on her hand because she's not holding a knife. This is her hand. All right? These are her fingers. And they missed them. Stupid. All right? These niggas down on their knees shooting dice. Okay? A lot of you niggas do that shit right now. It's doing that shit right now. Okay? Nothing new under the sun, man. None of this shit changes. If these niggas on their knees shooting dice don't let you know that this was you, then you niggas are just done, man. Because you ain't never seen no Edomite do that shit once. Okay? So, with that, I'm just going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Karkwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders, the apostles, and the men of great millstone. And I want to say shalom to the Akim and the Akwaf that are listening, Kwam Yasharala and Abad Babal. And please search and find, okay? Look all of this stuff for yourself, okay? This is your history. This is who you are. A part of the main reason why we walk around here, us Israelites walk around here lost and not knowing what to do is because we don't know who we are. Okay? But make no mistake about it. Once you accept this, once you accept the scriptures, once you accept all of that, it's a higher standard that's raised. You have to conduct yourself in a different manner. You can't just be a nigga no more. Okay? You got to start having dignity. You got to start having honor. And truth be told, that's why a lot of you niggas just hide this under a rock. You would rather just be a nigga and do whatever you want to do all day instead of conducting yourself with some fucking sense. All right. But like I said, man, Kwam Yasharal and Abba Ball, man, Lord willing, this was edifying. And, thanks to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai for revealing this to us. Shalom.